Hey everybody, Dawn Alchemist back again with a soap reveal. Not a soap making video, but a soap reveal from Thailand. Now, I went to the floating markets and it was incredibly overrated. It was nice, like actually being on the boat was lovely, but the actual markets themselves, trash. Tourist trash. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to start out this video giving you a suggestion of what to do before I go to the soaps. Be very careful who you go with to the floating markets in terms of, where you purchase your tickets, that sort of thing. Now, we went with a taxi driver who showed one of our friends through Bangkok. Obviously, my friend was a newbie, so he got ripped off, and this taxi driver proceeded to try and rip us off. Now, he took us to the so-called big floating markets, and we only found out the price when we got there. So it was 8,000 baht to go to the big floating markets and potentially a tour down the river if we had so wished, if we still had time. Most people, what they'll do is they'll go to these sort of the floating market itself, and they'll run out of time there. They won't bother going down the river, and they'll miss out on the best part. So what happened? We went through the small floating market first, which is full of overpriced tourist trash. And here's where we get to the first soap. So this is what I got. As you can see, lovely packaging, right? I have opened it earlier for convenience. There you go. Apparently, floating market Thailand, handmade. Apparently handmade. We'll see, but apparently it's soap. Apparently, I say this. How much does this cost me? Ooh, let's see. The equivalent of about 15 Australian dollars. I severely got ripped off for this. And I know it too. That's the thing. I knew I was getting ripped off, but it was one of those situations where the guy driving the boat was saying to us, "Oh, this is my mom's shop." And so you felt a bit bad, right? You had to buy something. So I thought, well, look, I'll buy overpriced soap. Yeah, I don't know if it's handmade or not, but it kind of looks okay. Smells okay, looks okay. Oh, what a bloody rip-off. Now, what ended up happening was that at the big tourist market, like the entrance of the big tourist market, there were quite a few boats and it was so busy. And so we thought, you know what, stuff another round of, having to put through overpriced crap. Let's just go down the river and let the entire, floating market journey be about what it's like to go down the river, or the waterways, I should say. And that was wonderful. So let me show you. You can see it's lovely. I mean, you can see the little houses that would obviously sell. People, would sell things from their homes, or the back of their homes, front of their homes. And I suppose this is what would probably count as the real floating market, right? Some random person on a boat selling you bok choy. Not something they would ever show a tourist, because who the hell's going to go and buy freaking, herbs, greens for 5 baht when, hey, take a whole bunch of tourists who are selling this overpriced crap. That's more interesting for the sellers. But in saying that, look, the floating markets had, the small ones at least, had all the usual tourist BS, including different types of soap. And I am going to show you the other soaps that you could get at the floating markets, but I chose not to buy from there. Instead, I bought this at a night bazaar in Pattaya. You can also get it at MBK, wherever. I mean, these guys were like 4 for 100 baht. Compare that to what I paid for this. Yeah, that was silly of me. But I mean, look, yeah, it's one of those things. Some people want to say they've experienced it. I would never do that again. That was such a waste of time. Spare yourself the 8,000 baht. That was such a rip-off. I have been to the floating market before, different, because there are multiple flea markets you'll find there. They're all tourist based. You can go to some that are, you can book online, pay online, organize your way there by hiring a driver, and that's fine. Hire a driver for half a day, that's okay. And they might cost you, a little bit. Definitely not, 8,000 baht, which was at the time about $400 Australian. Absolute beer. I'm still reeling from how crap that was. Problem is, taxi driver had taken us over an hour and a half away, and we only found the price when we got there. So, he was obviously getting commission, and he kept trying to talk us into getting like a safari and go to the gold markets. Yeah, we had to refuse repeatedly for him to. Well, he didn't even stop mentioning it. He kept mentioning it. But that was frustrating. Anyway, enough about that. So, the advice: skip those stupid floating markets, but enjoy the trip down the river. And I'm sure you can do this without having to pay such exorbitant prices. Surely there's some sort of tour you can do online, pay for online. It was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. We got to see a couple of temples, go visit them, and we found a place, a little park area that was just for the locals, and that was brilliant. I'll give you a little comparison. So we bought an icy pole at the local place. It cost us 10 baht for the icy pole. Same icy pole, exact same icy pole at the floating markets was 100 baht. So you can see how they're shafting the tourists, right? But anyway, enough of that. Look, here are some of the common tourist soaps that you'll get. And yeah, of course, these guys are mass-produced, synthetic, but they're freaking cute. And that's why they smell lovely. The frangipani ones, these are my favorites because they just smell absolutely delightful. That was terrible, but these also make great gifting soaps. I mean, look, for 400 baht, you can't go wrong. That's $5, by the way, in Australia at the current time. They're really cute, and you'll find them in any market. So yeah, my suggestion is don't get it the first place you see. Unless you're getting a good price, like I did. But yeah, they're awesome. I didn't buy too many. You saw in the previous video, I did go to the supermarket as well, and I purchased some there. Now, the ones at the supermarket, they are a little bit marked up because, once again, it's directed at tourists. A little durian. Well, let me just check if this smells like durian. No, it doesn't smell like durian, thankfully. But yeah, so a little sample of what I purchased. I will be making more soap very soon. I want to use these as a bit of an inspiration. I'm in love with the mango. Just the fact that it's just so lovely, right? Of course, I use a mold. I would like to know. I have to do some research to find out how they make these because they're just brilliant. Bring back some of the supermarket ones. So this is a supermarket one. Not too bad. Pretty cute, huh? And then, of course, my little supermarket elephant one. Yeah, I love the soaps from Thailand. I love the little commercial ones. So they're just so cute. But hey, look, if you've got any comments, you want to hear more about my Thai trip, or if you have any particular soap designs you would like to see, let me know. And if I can do it, I shall make a video on it for you. But for now, hey, thanks for watching. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.